But basically, it was playing games. I had this brick game, more like Tetris. Yeah, and well, apart from the 3D games we have now, and special effects, VFX, it was quite a big thing back then to have a big brick game. And I can still remember that, you know, when you strike the wind. But it helped you a lot. You know, it's funny how learning is subconscious. Funny enough, what the brick game helps you, that most people don't know, is soft things. The game throws items at you at intervals and expects you to sort them to find the level. So you see things in different shapes. A couple of years back, you know, before I started working at them, someone looked at me and said, how do you always, you're pretty good at solving problems. What is the truth? And what got me to that point was primarily the brick game. It's very simple. You look at a brick that is like a straight line, then you see something coming up like a cross, then you see something coming like a box, and you solve. As each block drops, you're wondering where to fix it. You're thinking. One of the first things you learn when you probably want to solve a problem is to analyze, which means break apart. Then when you've gone through it and you try to solve it all, then you synthesize, which means put it back all together. We're going at an exponential time right now. You know, they said it took the radio about 50 years to reach a population of, I'm not sure of the number, but about 30 million. So it took 30 years to reach a population of 50 million. It took about 20 years for television to do that. With Facebook, it took about 4 years to reach a population of 50 million. Angry Birds. It took Angry Birds 3 days. You know how long it took Candy Crush? Less than 24 hours.
15 or 50 million?
50 million. A population of 50 million. Tell you something about games, right? It does. Okay, so for us at LEAP, we've always wanted to do training for young people, inspire them, educate them. Since our target group is majorly youth, between the ages of 13 to 35. And because our topics are serious topics, like most of them say, we dwell on leadership and ethics. And these are concepts people usually don't want to talk about or hear about them. Corruption. How do you solve corruption? I mean, we're all part of the problem. Now, our normal face-to-face class training programs are also being perceived as, by young people as boring. Imagine talking to 13-year-olds and telling them, or even 25-year-olds and telling them what corruption is, what extortion is, what plagiarism is, and what's the difference between a gift and a bribe. It's pretty boring, if you ask me. Then imagine you want to take all that training content to an online platform. Has anybody taken any e-learning course before? If you have, how was it? Would you have done it if you had the option of a face-to-face classroom? Okay. Did you think it was tedious? Was spaced out, which is one of the advantages of e-learning. But was it interesting when you wait for the face-to-face classroom? It's good. So what we found out was that it was going to be a tedious job moving our face-to-face classroom courses to an online platform. So we started thinking, what's the best way to make e-learning interesting? Then we thought, gamification. You know, it's funny how young people get into a game and they could play for hours. Play for hours. Not eat, not drink. Do you know why? Because they want to take it to a point. Then we thought, what if learning was put in that same phenomenon? When you take a young child, you give him a content, and he plays through it. That he doesn't want to eat. He doesn't want to do any other thing other than get to the next level. And in the process, learn. So we then thought that the best way to do it was to gamify our content. So I would love to show you some of them. We are launching in a couple of weeks, so I'm just going to show you some parts of it, but not everything. Now, one of the things we also talked about was saying, how do we translate the content into visuals? Then we thought animation. Sorry, I don't know if I have sound. Can I get sound? Sorry. So, two things we looked at was gamifying the content, then adding animation to the content. Now, like games, when you have the games level, reward, progress, feedback, right? Imagine putting that into a content that teaches something. So when you get something right, it gives you feedback. It tells you this is how to do it. One of the beauties about e-learning and gamified content is that it makes learning easy for one reason. Players or learners are not afraid to fail. This is like a game. When you're playing it and you fail at it, you don't get upset easily. You're not upset because you didn't get it per se, but you're upset that you didn't get to the next level. Then you play the game. Right? So that was one of the things we did. We put levels into the success. So you have a success progress bar, and you have rewards you pick on the way. So if you learn A, you get a reward. You learn B, you get a reward. And it tells you specific targets. So learning is deliberate. Learning is standardized. Which means the same thing A is receiving is the same thing B is receiving. And you learn at your own pace. Now, we all know in the class there are slow learners, average learners, and fast learners. However, you find out that when you gamify content, it kind of puts that category of three sets of young people into a box. And they all sort of become equal. Such that even though I'm a fast learner, and I finish the content first, I can play the game. So learning becomes a continuous process. One of the first scenarios we converted was getting people to understand the difference between a gift or a bribe. That's a 2-minute animated scenario, which I will just play quickly.
Have you wondered why, despite having a police station on your street, you still feel unsafe? Or your landlord asks for annual rent in advance, even though you receive monthly salaries?
It pays to be committed to what you love doing, no? It's almost unbelievable how much money I now have. It's just that sure if I should give this money back to the chairman.
Hey, my sister. Hello, Shitu. Welcome back home. Shitu. Why are you looking worried now? We have a huge weekend to plan.
Don't mind me, Joe. It's just this conference I returned from that's bothering me. Do you know that they actually offered to pay my feeding and accommodation?
And now, I know, so what's the problem?
See, I had collected a grant of 450,000 from the local government to cover my travel expenses. But after my performance at the conference, the organizers decided to refund the costs.
My
They
sister.
even gave me an honorarium, which I'm still marveled at.
Shitu. Now, wow. That you are very lucky. So, what's the problem?
Haba, must I spell it out to you?
Shitu. I don't know now. Shebi, you collected money from the local government to travel.
Yes.
Then the organizers, they refunded the cost and even added little jar on top. Abi? And so, Shitu, what is the... Oh, okay, I see now. It's alright. You are wondering if you should return the money back to the local government. Abi?
Finally, you get it.
Now, wow,
Voila. It's such a tempting situation. I mean, what would you do? I mean, I have so much to do with money right now. What would you do if you were in my shoes?
What shoes, Mrs.
Okay, so this is a scenario, right, that puts you in place. I guess you're all wondering, what would you rather do? I mean, have you really thought about this? If you were Miss Chichi, what would you do?
Run, you wear. Run. That's not you. Run. This guy country. Run.
Okay, so you are saying that the Chichi should not return the money to the local government. She should keep it. Oh my, we have a lot of work to do in Nigeria. Oh my God. Okay, all things being equal, what is supposed to be the right thing to do? Return it. Okay, so for all that live, we think that corruption, we have issues of corruption are always there because of our actions and inactions. So it's not about the person who is even doing the corrupt act. It's about you that is not doing anything about it. Someone said that when bad people destroy, it is good people that rebuild. Because the bad people don't care anyway. It's true. When bad people destroy, it's good people like you and I that rebuild. So why do we have to go through all that? Anyway, the right thing to do for Miss Shitu basically is, in the first place,